Let me give you a little more in-depth Bitcoin price update. The trend is down now. What does it mean? It simply means that we are in this downwards sloping channel. That's all it means. And while we are in this channel, it's correct that the trend is down. The indicator is working. It hasn't bugged out. But how do I take that knowledge and translate it into a reasonable action plan for me? That's what I'll try my best to answer in this video. First of all, you can choose to happily just ignore this video. Ignore technical analysis, ignore Twitter, ignore fundamentals, ignore narratives. Close your eyes, notice that the trend is down, exit here at the first pump after the blue flip. Right now price is 26,780. Then you could buy back the next time the trend is up again. So you could spend 5 minutes per year in total. And historically, that has been very successful for Bitcoin and even more successful for altcoins. Because mathematically, Bitcoin can't go 10x from here to 300,000 or whatever with the trend down. So if it's really going to do that, there is zero chance that you will miss it. It's mathematically not possible. And crypto, like most global technology, tends to move in big extended trends. That's why it works. I've even built the Lars Online Pro tool, which only sends you alerts when it is actionable as per the Lars Online process. So you can close Twitter, close TradingView, switch off your brain and take action like twice a year when the alert comes. And if this market continues to behave in similar ways as it's done over the past 10 or 12 years, you would do well. Of course, past performance is no guarantee for future results and all that. But I found that by putting in 100 times that effort, adding technical analysis and stuff like that, it's possible to improve on those results. A little bit on average. I've shared with you guys my first entry in this upswing, which was on 10th of January at 17,433 because of support and resistance and volume profile, which front ran the Lars Online gold flip a little bit. Then Lars Online confirmed at about 21,000. I shared how I lightened the load a little when 30k clearly acted as resistance and when the 27k neckline from this lower time frame head and shoulders pattern seemed to break down, which then front ran this blue flip a little bit. Then I also had a couple of entries that didn't work out, that got stopped out. Those deduct from those results. There is no process or methodology that works every time. The best we can hope for is something that works on average. And adding technical analysis, adding some insights about what's going on in the world can improve on the results, in my experience. That's what I'm trying to do with this video. If you feel that's just confusing you, don't watch it then. Just because I like to challenge myself and try to always improve on my own process all the time, doesn't mean it's right for you. If you have no process, no methodology, definitely start simpler. Then there's another thing that I want to address. Selling is emotionally very difficult. 2 of my best videos, I think, were those I did in Vietnam, when I tried so hard over so many videos to motivate you all to sell near the top when the downtrend was clear and in alignment with the chart, the technical analysis. If you haven't watched the one about the turtle, do so after this video. I'll also link it below. If you spend a lot of time reading about Bitcoin and crypto, it's super difficult to sell. You feel much more stressed then than if you hold Bitcoin and it goes down. But you have to find a way to separate your emotions from the numbers. If there is a period in the market which is uncertain, where the chart and the trend aren't in alignment, for example, fact is that you don't know what's going to happen. I have no clue, you have no clue. Then if you hold exposure and price goes down, you lose money. But if you don't hold exposure and price goes up, you feel like shit, but you don't lose any money. Not 1 cent, not 1 penny, not 1 Swedish crown. It feels bad, but you don't lose money. And as anyone who has spent a lot of years in the market will tell you, making money in the markets is easy. It's keeping them that's hard. If Bitcoin pumps to 50k tomorrow, I still have exposure. but not as much as I would have liked. Then my Twitter feed will be full of messages, ha ha ha, loser. Did I lose money? No. Did I make money? Yes. I probably made more money than most of those people writing those messages. Of course, I could have made even more if I had an even bigger position. But so what? I would still feel annoyed that I didn't max out my position before it pumped, but I've learned to separate my emotions from the numbers. And you can learn that too. Now to the chart. I read it like this. We're in this channel. That's a flag, which is a bullish pattern after a big move up, as we had here. If we zoom in a little, and if we draw this a little differently, it can even become a wedge, which is even more bullish. Plus, if we switch to this view, we see that we got support here. That line is the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders pattern, a higher time frame reliable pattern. So that will give support for sure, a positive sign. So how long will we stay in this channel or wedge? I don't know. You don't know. The good news is that we don't need to predict it. Right now, the upper boundary is at 27,500 if we draw this as a channel, and at about 27k if we draw it as a wedge. If we break out here on volume, that's a confirmation of this pattern. That would be another bullish signal. Great! If we stay in this channel a little longer, then we might hit the price target from this low time frame head and shoulders top, which is at 23,800. If this head and shoulders pattern instead invalidates above the right shoulder high at 29,500, 700, and we break out from 30k, the trend probably won't be down anymore. And then we have many solid confirmations that we're continuing up. Great! If that doesn't happen and we go much deeper, like this, which I don't think it will, but if it does, we've protected much of our capital. Great! And by being a little active, we have arguably, regardless of which of these scenarios play out, reduced our risk at a point of uncertainty. The metric that I think you should track is risk-adjusted return. It's reward per risk taken. The guy who bought the highest risk asset and won that gamble still isn't the best trader because he took an enormous risk doing so. So as you can see here, it's possible to devise an action plan where we win regardless of which of these main scenarios plays out in the end. My guess what will happen is that this higher time frame head and shoulders pattern will hold, that the neckline will hold, that this channel eventually breaks out on the upside, and that the trend eventually turns back up. And I have three supporting arguments for that. DXY looks weak. It didn't reach the top of the range, turned back down before that. And the US government bonds 2-year yield seems to have faced resistance here. And finally, Bitcoin dominance has broken out here, unlike the previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Then even if crypto as a whole doesn't grow, Bitcoin still might. But my guesses aren't input to my process. The bigger picture is that we're in consolidation, retracement, confusion state. Large Online is a trend trading process. During huge periods of Bitcoin's life, it has been in trending state. Trending up, trending down, trending up, trending up, trending down. But right now, we're not trending. We're in the chop, consolidating, retracing. Clarity will come. Clear trends will be back on the menu. That I can guarantee. As for my investment portfolio, I'm not selling everything here. I still hold exposure. Upon upwards confirmation, I will buy more. Only upon an invalidation of this high time frame inverse head and shoulders with a trend down, I would exit everything. That would be upon a break below the right shoulder at about 19,600. If that happens, that would be a radically different situation. Then the chart and the trend would be in perfect alignment again, in the direction of down. Same situation as we had in 2022. But today, we're not there. If you want to learn more and join the discussion and get my Friday tier report and all that, you get the course with Lars Online on ctolarsson.com. And if you want to mentally log out and get like 2 alerts per year, or be more active in discovery and portfolio management. Lars Online Pro does both those things. By the way, tomorrow morning I'll upload a new version of Lars Online Pro where I've added some sorting functionality that many of you have requested, and also support to run it as a standalone app on both phone and desktop, which I think is neat, so look out for that. Finally, time for Fan of the Day. With Lars Online, I picked up both Render and Cream recently, both more than paid for the cost of Lars Online and Lars Online Pro. Lars Online Pro will be very valuable for the next alt season. These socks are genuinely the best constructed socks I've ever owned, and they have a truly valuable message. Wow, I've said it before, but we are crazy blessed to have access to people like CTO through social media. What a time to be alive. Thank you guys for the appreciation. It really means a lot, because of course you get criticized a lot when you're sticking your neck out on social media like this. Then I just saw this great message in our Discord. Henjo, forgot to say, CTO explained it here many times, that you should, or could, just ignore his deviations. He put in extra effort in order to beat his own process, which he may achieve in the end. But firstly, at what cost? The effort, the amount of hours may not be worth the little extra you can make. I like the 80-20 rule here. For example, you can achieve the 80% performance quickly, but to add the last 20% to perfection will cost you much more time than achieving the 80%. Secondly, you run big time into the risk of overcomplicating things and not having a real process anymore, because you always find reasons to enter/exit every week. It becomes more an emotional instinct-driven trading then. Maybe that works if you have experience like CTO, I am sure. For me, it won't work, and I also totally dislike these changes in excitement and hot and cold and hot and cold. I like to focus on living my life and not bounce up and down with the global market. I have my alarms here for my watch list, and when they hit, I check it out, otherwise not. Henjo, I should just have screen recorded your message from the start and saved the effort of this video. Mate, thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out. Hejdå.